Hey friends, welcome back to Fridays with Faye. I am so glad that you are here. Let's be real for a moment. Do I really believe what I say? I had someone ask me that, and it made me take a really hard look at myself. I tell others to walk in obedience, but sometimes I'm sitting in my chair, arms crossed like a stubborn toddler, because God isn't answering the way I wanted. I talk about waiting on Him, but there are days I'm in that waiting room begging, Lord, please just move. But yet deep down, I do believe it. Some days it's a strong, victorious kind of belief. Other days it's a shaky, tear-stained whisper. God, help my unbelief. But both count, because faith isn't stationary, it's moving. Faith is messy, because faith isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Faith doesn't sit still. It walks through storms. It crawls through valleys, and sometimes just stands with trembling knees. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about getting up every time. Faith grows in the motion, in the middle of the questions, in the messy places where we keep choosing to believe, even when we don't see the outcome yet. Let's open our Bibles and take a look at Mark 9:24. Immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. That's one of the most honest prayers ever spoken. And I find myself praying it often, especially walking through life with ATTR-CM. This disease has taught me that even when my body feels weak, God's strength still holds me up. But I won't pretend it's easy. There are days when the fight feels long and the questions are so loud. Days I ask, Lord, are you still in this? And like the wind, He gently reminds me He never left. And then there's the ache of having a prodigal. It's a different kind of waiting room. Every day I lay that burden down and somehow I find myself picking it back up again. So I pray, God, help me cast it. Help me really let it go. Help me trust you in all of this. Because sometimes surrender isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily, sometimes minute-by-minute choice. And here's something that I've learned through all of it. Faith doesn't always look the same. For some, it's hands lifted high in worship with tears streaming down their faces. And for others, it's sitting quietly in the pew, holding on with the smallest flicker of hope. But both are acts of faith. Both are seen by God. And both need encouragement, because the hand raiser and the pew sitter are walking the same road, just at different paces. So we need to be people who walk beside each other, honoring both the loud praises and the quiet prayers, because God meets us all right where we are. Sometimes obedience looks like walking boldly forward. Other times it looks like sitting at His feet and whispering, I trust you, Lord. And in these moments when I'm pouting or pleading, God is still refining me in the waiting. He's teaching me in the pain. He's growing me. That's where the roots of faith dig deep in the soil of uncertainty. So yes, I do believe what I say. Sometimes my faith roars, and sometimes it's barely a whisper, but it's still faith. And even when I'm weak, God is still strong. Even when my heart feels heavy and it's breaking, His hands are still holding me. Because faith isn't about never struggling. But what it's about is never stopping the conversation with God. Here's my challenge for you this week. Ask yourself, do you really believe what you say? When life doesn't go as planned, when the prayers feel unanswered, when that waiting room is so long, will you still cling to the truth that God is good? This week, I challenge you to look around and find someone whose faith might not look like yours. Maybe they're the hand raiser. Maybe they're the quiet one in the pew. Encourage them. Remind them that they're seen. Remind them that they're loved. And remind them that they're still in the fight. Because faith isn't about who looks the strongest. Faith is about showing up, side by side, even when it's hard. It's not just about standing firm, but it is about standing together. Thank you all so much for joining me this week. I hope this devotional has encouraged you as much as God has used it to encourage me. I hope to see you next week. And until then, have a blessed week. Love you.